Hey guys, Amanda here with some more quick tips for you. Today I have tips to get started paddleboarding with your dog. So tip number one, you want to ensure that first and foremost you choose the right board for this purpose. So ideally one that's going to be long and wide enough to support both of your weights, and also stable enough to support any if your dog moves involuntarily or moves around a lot on the board when you're out on the water, to ensure that your board doesn't flip over. So ideally look for a board longer than about 10 feet is a good place to start. Tip number two, choose a full deck pad so that you have a little extra traction. In addition, you want to ensure that your board's construction is going to work well with your dog's paws. So, i.e., you don't want it to be really slippery so that they can't, they're not encouraged to stand on it or they get scared, and also to keep them from falling off. So a full deck pad and the proper traction of your board the top of your board is going to help keep your dog and you upright when you're out on the water. Thirdly, consider a PFD for your dog. I guess in this case could be regarded as a pooch flotation device, and they do make these. So even if your dog is a good swimmer, it might be a good idea to have one of these on hand, especially when you're first starting out, because that added unknown element of being out on the water, possibly on something unstable, can catch any pooch by surprise. And PFD will just ensure to keep them safe if they do decide to jump or fall into the water. And finally, you want to introduce your dog to the board slowly, starting on land. So you can encourage them to start standing on the board by using positive reinforcement. For example, rewarding them with a treat whenever they voluntarily step onto the paddleboard. If your dog is voice trained, using voice commands can be super helpful also. And when you're out on the water, consider having treats with you too, just to encourage them to stay on the board, reward them for being still, and if they do fall off the board, encourage them to get back on. So quickly to recap, 4 tips I have for getting started paddleboarding with your dog. First and foremost, choose the right board. So you're going to want to look for something that's long and wide enough to support both of your weights and ensure stability. A good place to start looking is at boards at about 10 feet or more. As far as traction goes, you want to opt in for like a full deck pad for that little bit of extra traction, and also ensure that the top of your board isn't too slippery for your pup. So consider your board's construction materials as well. Thirdly, consider a PFD for your dog, which they do make, and I've kind of dubbed a pooch flotation device. So regardless if your dog is a good swimmer or not, being out on the water on something unstable like a paddleboard can catch any dog by surprise. So having a PFD for them is just an extra measure of safety. And finally, when introducing your dog to the board, start slowly and ideally start on land. So a couple suggestions here would be to encourage them to start stepping onto the board using positive reinforcement. Treats are a good way to go about doing this. Voice commands if your dog is voice trained. And also consider carrying treats out with you on the water once you get to that step, just as a way to reward them when they're doing a good job, or being still, or perhaps getting back up onto the board after accidentally falling off of it. So those are 4 tips I have to get started paddleboarding with your dog. I'd love to hear any additional tips that you paddlers might have, or if one of these in particular you tried and worked out really well for you. Always would love to hear it. And any general feedback as well in the comments below. I love hearing from you guys, and thanks as always for watching. I'll see y'all next time. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like connecting with other outdoor enthusiasts, you should definitely consider checking out Summit. Summit is a social network that brings together adventure junkies from all around the world to exchange stories, share advice, and inspire each other. You might even make some new friends too. It's kind of like Facebook for outdoorsy people, but with better privacy, no ads, no spam, and tons of extras. You can join Summit by going to summit.theadventurejunkies.com or by clicking the link in the description below. You can find me in Summit too, so be sure to say hi when you join.